The infrastructure deal just signed into law includes a landmark car safety measure that was prompted by a CBS News investigation. The current rule leaves front seats susceptible to collapse in rear-end crashes.
And now the issue will be addressed within 2 years. CBS 2's Kris Van Cleave reports.
16-month-old Taylor Warner had just started walking when a ride in the family minivan turned deadly.
I've always thought of trying to justify why did Tay die. I don't want her to die in vain.
The Warners were rear-ended. The force of the crash caused her father Andy's seat to collapse backwards, colliding with Taylor, who is strapped in her car seat. The newly signed infrastructure bill mandates change inspired by the tragedy that befell the Warners and dozens of other families identified by CBS News.
When we spoke to you in 2015, we hadn't really known where this was going to go. Just thinking every day I'd get in the car, what if this happens again? What if we lose another child until this can change?
We found crash test after crash test after crash test showing what can happen when a seat collapses. But every single seat met or exceeded the half-century-old federal strength standard. So does a banquet chair.
200.
In the early 90s, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's own researchers warned the agency about seatback collapses, citing examples of major or fatal injuries. In response to our reporting, Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey introduced legislation to fix the problem. Regulators now have 2 years to draft a new strength standard, pending approval by the Secretary of Transportation.
CBS and the families put the spotlight on this critical issue. Now it's time for NHTSA to respond.
Happy birthday!
As Andy and Liz Warner remember Taylor 11 years later, they're now finding a moment of peace amid their heartbreak.
We still miss her every day, but that we know that her life meant something. We love her and we're very proud of her and thank her for what she's doing to help others in the future.
NHTSA says safety is its top priority and it will work to meet its congressional mandates. Safety experts tell us the back seat is still the safest place for children and to consider putting a child behind the passenger seat if it's empty or perhaps in the middle of the back seat if both front seats are in use. Kris Van Cleave, CBS News, Washington.